2015 Hockey Umpire of the Year, Michelle Joubert. Thank you, Michelle, for joining us today.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Michelle, as an umpire, you have a lot of international experience. You were chosen to go and umpire at the 2016 Rio Olympic Games. So tell us a little bit about what it was like umpiring at a sporting event of this caliber.
Rio obviously was my second Olympic Games, and I think the excitement around the first Olympics in London 2012 was just the actual appointment and being part of the Olympic Games. And I think with Rio being my second one, I had set some goals aside for myself. The ideal would have been to have an Olympic final umpiring appointment, and in all just to be once again part of such an international spectacle where people, from all over the world are brought together and just participate in sports, and we get to support the different sports that we don't always see.
What kind of physical preparation went into making sure that you were fit enough to take on such a challenge?
I think there's sometimes a understatement in terms of the fitness requirements involved for any official in sports like hockey, rugby, football. We know that it's quite a fast game, hockey, and the umpires or the officials, as much as the players, are expected to be at top level in terms of our fitness. So we have to submit every 3 months or 2 months, we submit our fitness testings through to the International Hockey Federation, and from there they will decide if you are fit enough to actually be appointed to the respective tournaments. Hockey, unfortunately, is a sport that we don't have too much funding available, so it's pretty much up to each individual in their own home countries to keep themselves fit and obviously just submit their testing on time.
Let's talk about the mental fitness of being an umpire. The pressure is intense because, let's be honest, after every game, everyone always remembers that one mistake that the umpire made. So how do you cope with this pressure, and are there any moments in your career where it was particularly tough for you?
I think the mental fitness is probably the most important part of any official. If you don't know how to cope under pressure, and also in a split second make decisions, and on top of that be aware that you'll have to work with players that are unhappy, I think that's probably one of the first and foremost important skills that an umpire needs to have. I think the same as fitness, physical fitness, the mental preparation is part of our preparation for tournaments, where we have to analyze video clips, we talk about certain umpire decisions, and then on top of that just do our own stress management skills to be able to operate in heated situations on the field. And one situation that stands out for me was at Rio Olympics. I was injured after my first 2 games, and in the third game it was a knockout competition at the Olympics, so the team that was going to lose the game would be out of the Olympic challenge for the final. The 2 teams, fortunately or unfortunately, was the number 1 and number 2 in the world, Holland versus Argentina. And Argentina ended up losing the game, and although Holland won, the coach was clearly not happy with my performance, which was obviously related to my injuries, and all I could think about was the pain that I was suffering, and then having to pull myself back within a game, knowing that my performance was mediocre, and just being able to pull myself back and to be able to finish the game strong. After the game, we had a situation where there was a lot of abuse towards me on social media, and I think, if you go back to your room, there's a whole lot of self-talk that needs to happen. You can sit and feel sorry for yourself, or you just have to try and get over the situation, try and disconnect from all of that, and just prepare for the next opportunity that does come your way. So, yeah.
So we have seen some ups and downs on the South African hockey scene. Last year was a particular disappointment when we were kept out of the Rio Olympics, but there was also some highlights like the creation of the PHL, the Premier Hockey League. So from an umpire's perspective, is hockey where it needs to be in South Africa this year?
I think the PHL was obviously a really good initiative, and the history behind this hockey revolution that the International Hockey Federation has brought by was after London 2012. Hockey was one of the fewest or lowest ranked sports in terms of the social media, and therefore they had to do something to revamp and to liven up hockey, to make it more of a spectator sport and have people following throughout the world. And I think South Africa has really jumped on the bandwagon with this, and there's a big drive in growing hockey. The initiative obviously of PHL is really good for us, and I think this year will be even more of a success than what last year was, because there's a lot more awareness being created around it. And I think another thing that we've also started adopting from the International Hockey Federation is the Hockey Fives, where it's obviously a smaller field, it's a much faster game, but still relating to hockey. Although it was disappointing for the players to not go to Rio Olympics, I think there were some youngsters that still that a 4-year preparation, and hopefully with the next Olympics, they'll get the nod and they'll be able to go.
In 2015, you were not only the second South African woman to achieve 100 international caps and receive your golden whistle, but you were also the first to receive the Umpire of the Year award. So what did this achievement mean to you? And over the past year, how have you seen it inspire the people that you're in contact with?
So for me to have gotten that award, I was quite surprised, and but lucky in the same sense that I've had so much support in terms of my mentors here in South Africa, and then the fellow friends and umpires that I've met over my 10 years of umpiring internationally. I think it's a really good initiative. It makes us as officials also feel appreciated, and that there's actually something happening for us to help us develop ourselves and to motivate us to be better. So I think from a South African point of view, a lot of people I've gotten a lot of exposure from this award, and there's a lot of people that are actually, and especially the youngsters, trying to get involved with umpiring from a younger age. If I look at when I started, I was, I think, 22 or 23. So there's some youngsters that I do umpire courses for. They're 15, 16 years old, already taking on, the whistle, and to learn and gain experience as much as possible.
Thanks very much, Michelle, for your time today.
Thank you.